Hey there, welcome along to another box opening and review video. We've been quite busy, I suppose, over the last couple of months, picking up lots and lots of new goodies. And really the backlog's formed because we haven't had time to do any of these videos. So we're just getting through some of that backlog. And this item here, it's a bit different. It's one of the Dapol O-gauge wagons. Now, if you remember, about a year ago, we did a review of the brake van, the Southern Railway brake van. From the same manufacturer, the same range, and this is actually going to be a Christmas present for my father, so don't tell him that I've got it out, videoed it. But it's number 7F-080-012, and this is the Rose Smith 8-plank open wagon. Pretty much the same type of packaging as we saw on that brake van. I mean, the packaging itself is well worth the money, and these are only about £35 each. So for O-gauge, it really is an excellent value for money. We're going to slide this foam out now. There we go. Get that out. Put the box to one side. And first things first, these heavy little blocks, these are just ballast weights that you can use hidden about the wagon just to increase its running weight if needs be. The wagon itself, we've got it inside this custom cutout foam, and I'm just going to try and slide it out carefully. You've got to do this quite carefully because you don't want to put too much stress on any of the underframe detail and snap them off. But there we go. Get that out, place that there, and we can see again it is an astounding, lovely, beautiful model, and I can't really find enough superlatives for it. We've got fully sprung buffers all the way around, and in this scale they're very, very necessary because when they actually run, they do tend to run buffer to buffer, so it needs that extra bit of spring as part of the practicalities of running it. We can see inside we've got a lovely moulding of the inner planks and strapping, and a nice touch with these wagons is that the side doors, just gently push that open, they open quite nicely. Got to be careful. The hinges are very delicate, so you don't want to force these open. But there we have it. You see it can be posed with the doors open, and in reality those doors were there so that basically a bloke with a shovel could get into these wagons and shovel the coal out. But they're nicely modelled. The hinges, as I said, are probably very delicate, so be very careful, and they're a push interference fit to stop them from falling back open. Now, the livery application on this is one thing that I think does detract from these, as it could probably have done with another pass through the tempo process, because what you can see is that the lettering looks a little bit pink, and that's a bleed through of the red from underneath coming through the white. That said, I don't know for certain what the prototypes would have looked like, and it may well be that the sign writing on these did tend to allow a bit of a bleed through of the red underneath. Where the white cross strap goes, we can see that where it crosses the lettering, the white is very much more white because it's effectively had two passes through the tempo machine. The lettering is very crisp, and we can see here this is a wagon that would have run between either the LMS or the LNER system depending on where it was emptied to. And Rose Smith, I believe, was a coal merchant in the London area, so this wagon would have trundled between particular collieries to the various points of sale that this particular company would have negotiated, either a land sale yard where you would have had an ordinary coal merchant who would have unloaded these wagons, bagged it up, and probably gone out with a horse and cart delivering it to domestic customers, or alternatively it's quite possible that some of these would have been used to take the coal to an industrial customer where entire wagon loads would have gone to one location. There are a lot of separately applied details on this. All of the brake gear separately applied, and it really is a beauty to behold. And also we can see on the underside we've got a representation of the actual chassis of the wagon, even though you would never really normally see that when running these. And we can see the sprung drawbars as well, which are part of the 3-link couplings that these come with as standard. The buffers there we can see self-contained with the spring, just like the proper full-sized originals would have had. The brake shoes all line up with the wheels, of course you would expect that even with smaller models these days. And we've got nice turned metal wheels with the split spoke pattern design on them. This particular wagon doesn't have an end-tipping door, so we've got a representation of the standard stanchioned ends. Both ends look pretty much the same. And then we've got the black strapping that goes round. And what I can see here is, I don't know whether this is by accident or by design, but the rivet detail is showing a bit of the red through, as if it's rubbed. Again, that could be deficiencies with not enough passes through the tampo printing process, or it could well be that the originals of these wagons showed up as having red bleed through where wear and tear had rubbed off on the rivets. It's number 8243. Now that doesn't necessarily mean that Rose Smith owned 8,243 plus wagons. One of the common little ruses that some of these coal and coke merchants used was they wouldn't number their wagons sequentially from number 1. And the reason for that was they wanted to look more important and bigger than perhaps they were. So if you started numbering your wagons in a larger number, people thought, oh gosh, they must be a big and well-established business because look at how many wagons they have. And it wasn't unheard of for a coal merchant who only possessed 1 or 2 wagons to number them in the tens or even the hundreds to keep up that illusion. Overall, I would say excellent value for money. For £35 or so, you really can't complain with any minor deficiencies in livery application or the model itself. There's a reasonable weight to it. These things do run quite well as is, but we can always add to it the metal weights, and these are actually designed so you can actually super glue them in. They will fit in the gaps underneath between the frame, so you can still have the wagon modelled open and empty without having these metal weights visible. So I'd say it gets a good 9 out of 10 from Dapol, and I'm really enjoying seeing this range develop. It's also fair to say that Helgen as well has brought out quite a reasonable range of wagons in O-gauge at very affordable prices. And you can see, if I compare it with, I've got this to hand, the size on these, I mean there you are, an O-gauge wagon is pretty much the same length as a double O-gauge locomotive. So you're getting quite a lot of model here for your money. Well, that's all I've really got to say about this model. Great model, well worth it, especially if you're into O-gauge. Very, very pretty wagon. Anyway, you take very good care of yourself, and don't forget to like this video, share it too, and this is me, Jenny Kirk, saying bye for now.
My name is Deza. I plow the space lanes, picking up debris and salvaging derelicts. It's a dangerous job, but the pay is good. At least I used to think so, before my ship came across our last derelict. We thought it was the payday of a lifetime. We were wrong. Nobody should have to go through what I did on that derelict. I barely made it out. Now they want me to go back.